I'm about to admit something that will make you feel less crazy about your productivity patterns. This is the Frequency Lab. I'm Varney. Please help the channel and subscribe whilst we speak in this video about breaking free from the productivity lie that's draining your soul. Let me tell you something that nobody's talking about in the productivity stage. We've been sold the lie that procrastination is a time management problem, and that if you just had better discipline systems or discipline or better willpower, you'd finally be consistent. What if I told you that your procrastination is actually your nervous system most sophisticated survival strategy? You know, what if you waiting until the last minute isn't laziness? It's actually addiction. Let's further ado, let's get on with this. And it's not addiction to substances or to drama, but to neurochemical cocktails that floods your system when everything is on fire. I know all this only too well because this is me. Definitely. And I'm going to give you some tips here that shows you how to get over this, because today we're deep into the frequency of urgency addiction. And I'm going to show you just how to channel the same intensity without burning yourself out. So there's a dopamine adrenaline loop. When you work under pressure, your brain releases dopamine, the reward chemical, adrenaline, which is the action chemical, and the norepinephrine, the focus chemical. I hope I said that correctly. And this creates what neuroscientists call a stress reward cycle. Your brain literally gets high off of crisis. Yeah, but here's what's really happening in your nervous system. There's 3 trauma patterns, probably more, running your show, but we're just going to look at the 3. The Performer Saviour. This is a hypervigilance response, who the core wound is, I'm only valuable if I'm saving the day. Yeah? If this is you, put it in the comments. I'm going to tell you a wee bit more about it. This usually begins in childhood when love, attention, or even approval only came when you fixed something, or you helped someone, or you performed under pressure. Now, maybe you were the family hero or the one who held it together when everything fell apart, or your nervous system learned crisis equals a matter, chaos, a matter. Yeah. So your nervous system state is, I'm putting my hand up to that one, by the way, because this is me too. Your nervous system state is sympathetic overdrive. So it's constantly scanning for the next fire to fight. You know, there's an internal dialogue going on that if I do this early, it won't be as good. I need the adrenaline to access my brilliance, or my best work comes from pressure. Or you're addicted to the rush of pulling off miracles, or you just feel empty or invisible when during peaceful periods. Or like me, you just can't be bothered. You just can't be bothered doing it. You know you're going to do it. You can do it very quickly when you get that fire behind you. But what actually happens is you go into a loop. It creates crisis, and then it gets that it swoops in, it gets validation, and then it needs a bigger crisis. But here's the deeper truth here. You're not actually procrastinating. You're unconsciously engineering situations where you get to be the hero of your own story. Every delay is a setup for the grand rescue. Yeah? So there's an energy signature here, which is the manic brilliance followed by collapse. How many people have done that? Yeah. Now, how does this show up in your business or in your work life? You launch everything at the last minute. You thrive on impossible deadlines. Team members get burned out by your urgency. used to be me, creates artificial scarcity to motivate yourself, or you just feel bored by sustainable systems. Put my hand up to that. Now, what's happening here is the shadow side. She's addicted to being needed without crisis. She questions her worth. Yeah, she'd rather be stressed and valuable than peaceful and ordinary. Isn't it amazing? Eh? So she doesn't procrastinate. You orchestrate emergencies to feel alive. Let that one sink in. That's you. Put it in the comments. Let me know where you go and what you do, if any of that resonates. So we've got the number 2, the protector. That's the freeze response. The core wound here is my work will be judged, rejected, or it's not good enough. Now, when this started is often stems from early experiences of harsh criticism, perfectionist environments, or having your creative expression shut down. Your nervous system learned exposure equals danger. Better not to try than to try and fail publicly. Now, your nervous system state here is a dorsal vagal shutdown disguised as planning. The body will literally freeze to avoid that perceived threat. Yeah. And the internal dialogue that's going on here is, I need to research more before I start. I'm just being strategic and thorough. I'm not ready yet. It's not ready yet. I don't want to waste my energy on the wrong thing. Yeah, is that you? The somatic, the body experience you'll feel is it'll be heavy. It'll be a sluggish feeling when facing with important tasks. You'll have overwhelm that leads to shutdown. You'll procrastinate, which feels like it's just like quicksand. And then you could be relief when deadlines remove the pressure to be perfect. Mental how we work, isn't it? And the loop avoids exposure. Waits until no time for perfection, and then it executes with no time excuse. I've got something for you further on. Just keep listening. I've got something for you to help you with this. Now, the genius, because there's also genius, the genius of this pattern, if you only have 2 hours to complete something that should take 2 weeks, no one can expect perfection. Sure, you're off the hook, being brilliant, because you didn't have time. Now, the energy signature around this is powerless. You're paralyzed. It's disguised as strategy. Yeah. How this shows up in your business or your work life. Endless planning, but you don't execute anything. Yeah, you're just always in the planning stage. Perfectionism that prevents launching. I used to do this many years ago, not now, but this used to be me, this one. So you can't change from it. You can't shift from it. Waiting for the perfect moment, for the perfect system, for the perfect team before you do anything. Or you justify delays as being strategic, or you feel like a fraud. Especially when things go, you just feel like a fraud. Yeah, that imposter syndrome comes in. Now, the shadow side is, it isn't laziness, it's terror. The protector would rather be seen as a disorganized than risk being seen as an inadequate. So the delay is a shield against judgment. Yeah. If they delay, he delays is not from laziness, but it's from terror of being seen as ordinary. And if that's you, let me know in the comments if that resonated with you. And finally, the inner child, the chaos equals safety. This one is definitely me. Yeah. First one, wee bit, but this one. Core wound is that the love attention only comes during a crisis. And I've got a prime example of that one when I was in Nepal in 2015. And I've got many others, but this one really stands out as I'm doing this. In 2015, when we were in the devastating earthquake that took 9,000 lives on the edge of a cliff, 6 miles from Tibet, as I was doing my master's in child psychology. And a huge 7.8 earthquake caused chaos, absolute chaos. Now, really, this really fits in here because chaos, crisis, that love and attention came to me during that crisis. Mental, yeah. Now, when this started, is obviously you grew up in unpredictable environments where calm meant something bad was about to happen. Massively me. Maybe your parents only connected during emergencies, or you learned that being good meant being invisible. Your nervous system learned that chaos equals connection and peace equals abandonment. That's you. Tell me in the comments. Yeah. Your nervous system state here is it's dysregulated baseline. Chaos feels the same. It feels like home. Peace just feels dangerous. It doesn't feel good to you. Yeah. And there's an internal dialogue going on. I'm bored when things are going well. Yeah. I feel weird when there's nothing to worry about. I don't really worry now, so I don't really have that. I work better with a little chaos. I work amazing when there's chaos. You know? People used to say to me when I was a bridal designer, even being the spiritual teacher and creating programs, how do you do so much work, Anne? How do you get through so much? Because I'm like a whippet when there's chaos, when I'm on the deadline. Being a bridal designer, think about it, deadline city, and a lecturer also, deadlines all the time. That was all my life was deadlines. So structure, it can feel restrictive. Yeah. Now the somatic experience that you'll be having is you'll feel restlessness, especially during those peaceful periods. You'll also get a bit of anxiety when life is too good. Yeah. When's it going to happen? When the mind does. And excitement and aliveness during crisis. There's a feeling of disconnected from others when things are stable. Now there's a loop here. Peace feels dangerous, which creates mini fires, which feels alive in chaos. Yeah. This part doesn't just procrastinate, she actively sabotages smooth operations. She'll create problems to solve, drama to navigate, and urgency to feel connected to life itself. As I say, wait till later because we've got something for you to move this. Because even yet, I've come out the live Oracle code, so I have more time on my hands to do the work that I know I need to do, and I can do that work very quickly. But do you think I'll do batch record and do these things? But I'm doing it now, though. It took me weeks to do this because I thought, what is going on here? And I've got it. I've cracked it, and I'm going to show you how I've cracked it. And it really does work. Really does work. And I'm going to show you that later on. So what's actually happening here? The energy signature is you're addicted to emotional intensity of scrambling. That's what's happening. And how can this show up in your business or your work? You sabotage systems that would create ease. Yeah. You create drama with your team members or your clients. Yeah. Feel disconnected from work when it's flowing. That is madness, absolute madness. You attract chaotic clients or situations. I don't so much do that now. I used to them. I really used to. Resist planning because spontaneity is more fun. Yeah. It used to be there, but I don't do that anymore. But I do the beginnings. The shadow side is you're not creating chaos to be difficult. You're creating it to feel alive. Because your nervous system, intensity equals intimacy. So smooth operations feel like emotional death. So you just don't know how to exist without something being wrong. Yeah. Now, what if all three are active? Because most people have elements of all three patterns, but usually there's one that dominates. The performer, the savior, plus the protector. You know, what happens there is you create crisis and then you freeze and then you swoop in at the last second. Yeah. Or what about the performer, savior, and the inner child? Thrives on chaotic rescues and feels empty during peaceful periods. Or the protector and the inner child freezes during calm, yeah, and then creates mini crises to feel something. It's honestly, I love how it works. It's absolutely brilliant. So, which pattern made you think, oh shit, that's me? That's your primary pattern. The other two are likely secondary responses that kick in when your primary pattern isn't working. Now, none of these patterns are wrong. They're survival strategies that helped you navigate your early environment, you know, but what kept you safe is probably keeping you stuck now. Yeah. So, what is the cost of that urgency addiction? Because it's an addiction. Yeah. What is the pattern? What's it stealing from you? So, look at us energetically. So, energetically, you're hemorrhaging life force energy through constant stress. Yeah. Your adrenals are fried from chronic activation. And what can happen when your adrenals are fried? You put weight loss on, weight gain. You gain weight, yeah? Or your sleeping pattern's really bad. Or you've trained your body that rest equals danger. Your creativity only shows up in a crisis, which gives you massive limitation, massive. So what's happening emotionally? You resent your own brilliance because it only shows up under pressure, and you become addicted to the drama of your own life. You know, that toxic angst that you feel, or you're confused intensity with importance, and you're constantly disappointing your future self. Your hands up if that's you. Let me know in the comments. Or business wise, what's happening business wise? You can't scale because you can't systemize chaos. Just very hard. And the best work is always reactive, never proactive. Yeah, you burn out team members with your urgency addiction. Yeah, you're leaving millions on the table, thousands on the table by not planning ahead or even automating. Yeah. What about relationship wise? What's happening there? Your energy is either manic or depleted, and there's no in between. So a lot of anger, a lot of triggering can go on there. You create urgency in others to match your frequency. Or you're emotionally unavailable during non-crisis times. You just zone out. Yeah. You've taught people that you only show up when things are on fire. Now, there's a frequency truth here is every time you delay, you're not just procrastinating, you're actively choosing stress over sovereignty. Yeah, you are. So let's just reframe the intensity as choice and not addiction. Just reframe it. Because the goal here isn't to eliminate intensity, it's to become a conscious creator of it. So this is what I suggest doing. A PowerHour Protocol. Yeah. So this is what I've done. And what I've done is I've said to myself, I've got an hour to do this goal. Yeah, give myself an hour. So you could actually do a ritual with it. You could light a candle. You could put on your favorite music, or choose to bring the fire to this task because you've only got an hour to do it. Take 3 breaths to the parasympathetic nervous system and just activate it. Yeah. And just set a timer. No negotiation. You just set a timer, one clear outcome only, And there's no multitasking, there's no checking your phone, no chaos. You just embody intensity as a conscious choice. And then after 55 minutes, the completion, you've got 5 minutes left. Celebrate it. Rewire that dopamine pathway. Blow out the candle if you've lit a candle. Give yourself a big, hey, I've done it. Or even journal. What did you learn about your power when you choose fire over chaos? And just set yourself a wee mantra. I no longer perform for crisis. I lead with presence. Or a fire is chosen, it's not survived. Or I'm the emergency I've been waiting for. Yeah. And hopefully that's actually helped you some, because here's some nervous system regulation techniques as well. When you feel that urgency addiction kicking in, just pause. Stop what you're doing. Place your hand on your heart and ask, am I creating fire or am I feeling chaos? Just breathe in. Always go back to the breath. 6 counts out. Activates the vagus nerve. 4 counts in, 6 counts out. As many times as you want. And just reframe it. Just reframe the old, I work better under pressure, to I work brilliantly when I choose intensity. Or I need this deadline to focus, is the old I create my own sacred deadlines. Yeah? And just feel your feet on the floor. Make it a somatic anchor so you feel your body. Soften your jaw, because we always feel the tension in the jaw. And just remind yourself, I'm safe to work with these. I'm safe to do it. That's what I've done with this video. I've got a certain amount of videos I've got to record. I've given myself a certain amount of time. I'll do an hour. See how I go. I'll probably do 2 videos, 3 videos maybe even. And then I'll go walk away. Now, I did that this morning. I did an hour preparing for my scripts. I had other work I had to do and what have you. And I decided give myself an hour. Just an hour. Then I went and I made myself a cuppa, and I actually ended up booking my flight to our next destination. Beautiful. Unexpected, not where we thought we were going this time, being a digital nomad. We're flying here, there, and everywhere. But we booked our new flights. And I came and did this and gave myself another hour. And bang, it really does work. Yeah. So you don't need pressure to be powerful, and you don't need fire to finally focus, because you are the fire. That urgency addiction isn't a character flaw, it's a survival strategy that's outlived its usefulness. Yeah. Now that same intensity that shows up in crisis, that's your actual power. But instead of waiting for chaos to activate it, you're going to learn to turn it on at will. So your mission for the next 7 days, and come back here after a few days or 7 days, and you're going to implement that PowerHour Protocol daily. Protocol, should I say. And then you're going to notice when urgency addiction tries to kick in, and practice choosing the fire over chaos. And track your energy, track your results, your nervous system responses, because you're regulating your nervous system. And tag me, hashtag Anne Varney fire, when you've completed your first power hour, or just even hashtag fire. Yeah. Because remember, you're not lazy, and you're certainly not broken, and you're not lacking discipline. You're a high power being who's been running on survival mode instead of creation mode. Yeah. It's time to really remember who you are when you're not running from those imaginary fires and that chaos. And you're certainly not lazy. You're powerful as well. You're about to remember. Now, what if genuinely you work better under pressure? That's what you say to yourself, but I work better under pressure. It used to be me. That's the addiction talking. You work differently under pressure, more frantically, more reactively. But your best work comes from chosen intensity not survival mode. Yeah? There's other questions. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And here's what I know about you. As I say, you're not broken, you're not lazy, you're a high frequency being running on outdated survival programs. And if you want to identify a specific energetic pattern that's keeping you stuck in urgency addiction, I have two paths for you. First, take my Oracle hologram quiz to discover which 4 patterns is running your show. Links in the bio. And second, if you're ready to go deeper and activate a clear, aligned step forward, I'm opening sacred breakthrough sessions this week, and we'll identify what's holding your next level hostage so we can rewire it from the energetic level. Links in the bio too. So you didn't come here to burn out, my dear. You came here to lead from soul sovereignty. So let's activate that. This approach, it gives people a free entry point. That's the quiz, yeah? So I'm on Varney. Please, if you watch this on YouTube, please subscribe. It really does help the channel. We are trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of July, and it would be absolutely amazing if you could help us do that. Speak to you later. Bye-bye.